This is Willie Color from Jackson.
What's up, Willie?
Hey, I want to comment on the game. I thought TC called I think he called a conservative game, and I think just like Coach, he put Morgan in a lot of uncomfortable positions. I think he was trying to be balanced, and he probably had a certain number of plays he wanted done, and instead of diverting from those plays and playing what was given to him on the field, he put him in those positions. But it wasn't in no doubt. I mean, I've been seeing the same thing for the last 8 weeks. They adjust the second half, and they just totally dominated the team in the second half. I disagree with Rocky.
Listen. Mr. Will, I always usually agree with you, and I'm always rock. I disagree with the adjustments. I think Southern took itself out the game. They didn't do anything in the first half that worked. Everything. I just explained to you. Nothing they did in the first half, they brought to the second half. Nothing. They rarely ran the 2x2 formation that worked. They didn't go back to it. So realistically, like that was.
They didn't even give the running game a real try.
First half, right? Jackson State adjusted.
No, they did not.
Second half.
No, they did not. How are you going to? How didn't they? They didn't adjust to anything. That Southern just went back to what they did.
Score more than 3 points? Why didn't they score 10 points like they did in the first half? If it wasn't no adjustments.
Okay, Mr. Willie.
How did they gain less yards in the second half?
Okay, Mr. Willie. All right, Mr. Willie.
You can't argue with me like that.
I'm not.
You probably argue with other people.
You're not making no logical sense. I mean, you can't give it all to Jackson and act like Southern came out with the same game plan. They didn't.
I'm not giving it all to Jackson.
And I just explained to you why.
What I'm saying is, no. What I'm saying, Scotty, what I'm saying is, now Southern is an improved team, but Jackson, I really now you're gonna think I'm Jackson, but Jackson had the game under control the whole game. They are a scoring machine. Had a bad game today.
That's a lot of Texas. My lot of Texas going off.
Watch a lot of HBCU games next year, and know who will make us that fight before you send a group of guys dancing in the stand. I think you need to watch a lot more cultural.
Hey, Willie.
That ain't got nothing to do with the football game. That ain't got nothing to do with the football game, Mr. Willie.
It had nothing to do with the football game when he said that.
Okay, Willie. Wow, this is what I want to say. How do they have? Okay, with a minute and 54 seconds left to go in the game, down 10-7. How did Jackson State? 10-3. How did Jackson State have control of the game the entire time? In the second quarter, with 1 minute and 54 seconds left, down by 7. Coach, do you have control of the game when you 7 points down with a minute and 54 left to go in the second quarter?
No, sir. Actually, if I was the Southern coach, I would feel damn good. Now I would have been upset in my defense to give up them plays right before the half. You know what I'm saying? But when I even watched the game, and because I was I felt Jackson State would do what they eventually done, but I would look for more in the first half. But once I started seeing that, I didn't feel that they had control in the first half. I felt that, of course, we know Jackson State is Jackson State. They got a great offense, but they just didn't display it in the first half.
This is what I feel Mr. Willie should have said, is that we were never worried about losing the game. Like that, I would have said, you're right, Mr. Willie, because nothing Southern shown you would have scared you to be like, oh man, if we don't do this. No. So at no point did I feel they were in jeopardy of losing the game, because they had enough firepower to get with you in multiple ways. But the issue with him saying they controlled the game the whole time is a flat out lie. And it didn't help that Southern didn't do nothing in the second half. They did to get to the position in the first half.
Scotty, on my show, I said I guaranteed I'm taking all $100 bets straight up for Jackson that people had Southern. A couple people, Adrian Walker, Teldrick, a couple other people took the bet.
They need to send them 100 to the show, Coach.
Yeah, they need to send them 100 to us, Coach. And so I had a few dollars on the line. I was worried. You understand? Because until the play that to the point till Zay came in, I didn't have any confidence Jackson State could consistently move the ball the way they were trying to move. I didn't have any confidence because each time they got it in plus territory, their drive stalled out. Go ahead, Coach.
Again, that's what made coaches great is when they make good second half transitions in the locker room, and I take my hat off to T.C. Taylor and them. But I'll say this for the caller just called: when Jackson State ran down and scored, that made me a little more comfortable, and I think they had the momentum. You know, they wasn't playing Jackson State football; they were playing Southern football. So you got to give Southern University credit. I think their staff came out, said we're gonna slow them down. We're gonna take the run game away from them, and TC them. They bid on it, and that's why they started throwing the football with Morgan. You know, and then once they were like, well, damn, we in the game, and they raced down the score right before the half. I thought that was real big. That was Coach, a big possession for Jackson State.
Coach, you said something while we were on the phone that I thought was pretty profound. You was talking about being a play caller and taking what the defense give you. Can you just expound on that? And with a team, you were saying in TC's situation, taking what the defense gives him may not be your best option.
Right. One thing about a good offensive coordinator, that's what he does. He looks at the defense, and if they're in cover two, he want to run the football because they don't have another safety or corner in the run force game. And then sometimes when you show three, or when I'm going 2-by-2 with only one back, if I got two linebackers in there, so I got 5 blocking and I got 1 running back. Unless you got a quarterback that can run, that you don't mind running the football, then yeah, now you got 6 to block 6. So you would call run plays to block 6. But if they just gonna sit 2 linebackers in the box and play you man on the outside and some 3, then yeah, I want to throw the football because I feel my. So sometimes as a coordinator, you get caught up in that. So what changes that? What changes that is you also go in the game saying we need to get the ball to our playmakers. Who are those? Well, in Jackson State, it's the tailback. So regardless, if they got 2 linebackers and 4 down linemen, then we gonna run those plays that we can block 6, whether it's leaving the 5 technique outside alone with a fake and give it to him, but I mean like a jet motion, or fake it to him as he going and then now give it back to the back. You know what I mean? Or we gonna read the 5 technique. So if that end come down, the quarterback will pull it. If he comes up the field, we're gonna give it to the back. So those some 6 techniques. So that's what happened. And I think when Jackson State came out and they seen that Southern saying, we keeping 2 linebackers in the box. So I guess he chose to try to throw the ball. That ain't Morgan's strong point. That wasn't Jackson State's offense strong point, and that kind of stalled them in the first half.
All right, let me take this caller. Smoke, coming to you.
Yo, Dada, what's up with it, man?
What's good, Smoke? Talk to us.
I just got a few things I want to point out from the game. I went to the game today. It was very good scenery. First off, I just want to congratulate to my beloved Jackson State Tigers. I want to congratulate Southern also. Man, listen, if you are a Southern fan and you support that football program, bro, you have everything to be excited about. They counted Southern out, and Southern made it this far, and I think Coach Graves is a great coach. I feel like Southern had the perfect game plan. I think They took away from, you know, what Alabama State did and what a few other teams tried to do, and that was put pressure on Jacoby and get him out of the pocket, you know, get him uncomfortable. And they tried to stop the run game also. Gibbons is a dog, man. He's a dog. I hadn't watched much of him this year, but he made a major impact for them today, and he's a dog. If you are Southern, you have a lot to be excited about for your next season. I think Graves is gonna. I love the way he coached that team to the end of that game, bro. You know, most coaches would have gave up, and you know what I'm saying, but he coached that Southern team all the way to the end of the game, and I love that. I think he's the man for that job. I think he's gonna do a great job next year. If you are us, if you are a DJ State Tiger, in the way that Zy McDonald stepped up, and I think Scotty, we talked about Zy a lot before. Seeing how Zy stepped up and came in the game, and I think he came in at the right time. He gave us the momentum boost that we needed. He came in the game and scored right away. If you're us, we have a lot to be excited about for next year also. You know, even though the season is done, we have one more left. We got a lot to be excited about next year also. If Coach TC can convince Zy and Travis to stay, you know, and not into that quarter, because a lot of teams are going to be after Mr. Travis career. I'm telling you right now, a lot of power 4 and power 5 teams are going to be coming his way for the transfer portal. But if Coach TC can find a way to convince those guys to stay, we got a lot to be excited about. I think that duo right there is going to be. I think it just may be better than that Jacoby and Irv duo, because not as that little, you know, that little more twist to it with him being a dual threat, you know. So I think they'll be able to dig deep more into that RPO type of package if they can. Take away. I think we'll be good against South Carolina State. I don't think it's going to be a pretty, you know, blowout or anything. I think if we can go in there and the defense can do their job the way they did it today. We started off pretty sluggish. I think Southern shot themselves in the foot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we lost control of that ball game at one point. So I don't know what Mr. Willie was talking about, but at one point we definitely lost control of that ball game. When Southern went up 10-3, I'm sitting in the stands looking like shit, you know, like what's going on? Once again, you know, we found a way to win. And you know, I think that's been JSU football all year, finding a way to win and then capitalizing off mistakes. You know, Southern was having some quarterback issues also. Their third string came in through 2 interceptions, so we capitalized off them. Great ball game. It started off great. I don't like blowout games, you know, even though the score was what it was, but it was an ugly 41-13. But I like the way the game started out. It was a good old fashioned football game, you know. So that's it, bro. That's all I gotta say, man. I'm looking forward to playing against South Carolina State. I think it's gonna be a really pretty good game. That's it. I ain't gonna hold y'all up, bro.
Hey, appreciate the call, though, Smoke. Let me say this. If I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If I'm a Southern fan, a lot of those guys, I think Kelly's a senior. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's a senior. I don't know if he's coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves. Your quarterback room needs to get revamped. Your linebacker room needs to get revamped. Like it's you, depending on what you keep, lets you know if you have a good team. And with the transfer portal, you really don't know what you have. So to be excited about something when you don't know who's getting in the portal, who's dipping, who's coming, you do not know. So for Southern fans, no, you do not have a lot to be excited for, because you still got Mark Fredericks, and based off what he was, if anybody should get frustrated, you should get frustrated with Mark Fredericks, because how you run something in the first half and never go back to it, I will never understand. It just won't make sense to me. And my second thing is this. I think this was the turning point of the game. 10-3. You get an interception. You're at midfield. Southern's at midfield with an opportunity to go up 17-3. And you play scared. It's like, to me, it's like 4th and 1 and you're going against Kansas City Chiefs. I gotta put the nail in the coffin right here, right now. I gotta show you that we not here to play with.
Coach Cole says, Coach, would that be a time for one of those Chinese touchdowns?
I really thought they were gonna come back and come with some like a reverse pass, or because when you turn the ball over, then now the defense over there drinking water and thinking, oh, everything fine, and it's it's sudden change. Now they running on the field, you know what I mean? And that's when you kind of come with some they ain't seen or some you don't got in your back. Well, that's what I would do. Let me say that.
Yeah. So, and to me, it's like, again, you're playing. I'm gonna keep saying it. You're playing with house money. You're not supposed to be here. You already got them reeling. Everybody in the stadium is in shock right now that you up 10-3 with the ball to go in.
And to your point, Scotty. Now I'm gonna say this before Terrence Graves did a tremendous job this year. I was critical of him and his team and how they played all season, but at the end of the day, they were able to get in the championship. And by any measure, this team has overachieved. And normally, when a team overachieves, you want to get a coach the credit.
Yeah.
You want to get a coach the credit, because when they underachieve, but he gets the blame. He gets the blame. So I want to get coach the credit. But here's what I think happened, Coach. Even when the game was 10-3, they were playing like they were the champ. You know what I mean? They started playing like, let's just get it to halftime, or let's just see if we can limp to the game. Pause. If we can limp to the game, limp to the end of the game with a 7-point lead. You had to really understand that you weren't going to beat Jackson with 10 points. You understand? You have to go in the game understanding how many points you need to beat them. And they should have been focused on getting those number of points rather than just having the lead.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
No, I listen, if it's however you want to play it, right? Because for the last 5 or 6 games, Jackson hasn't allowed anybody to score a touchdown. So if that's the mindset that you're going into, you're like, hey, I got to get as many as I can in the first half, because we don't know what this offense is going to look like, or what we're going to be able to do, or if they're going to shut us down or whatever. And that's just being aggressive and letting your team know, because your team have to have the same mindset. You got to have that conversation. My coach in college would be like, listen, this is not the game where we're going to come in scared. If we have an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin, we're going to put the nail in the coffin. And I'm letting you know, if it's 4th and 2, if it's less than 3, we're going for it. If it's at the right time, at the right situation, we're going to go for it. So your team already has the mindset of, hey, it's one of those games. We're going to be on. We're going to dictate. We're going to dictate, right? And again, the fans and the alums, they might not like it, but your team needs to understand and respect it, and like, hey, this is the game plan that we're going into, and we're going to live and die with it. And nobody expects us to be here. We're going to show them, right? So it's putting that belief in T-Set. It's putting that belief in Givens. It's putting that belief in the defense. It's taking on that mindset as a team to say, listen, we're not going in with the mindset of we're happy to be here. We're going in the mindset of we're going to do whatever possible to win. And at that point right there, I was not pleased with those play calls. I really wasn't. I just really wasn't, because I'm like,
we hear you, coach.
It's just, for me, it's like that was a crucial moment in the game. You're playing with how you got the ball on your side, all those type of things, man. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Now, Scotty, I'm bringing up this sequence in this game. What happened is, Jackson State ran 2 plays on first and 10. They gave the ball to Irv. Irv got 6 yards. On 2nd and 4, they've been doing this the whole game in the first half. They dropped back to pass. Jacoby Morgan throws an interception, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Southern gets the ball on the 29-yard line, on their own 29, and they run the ball 4 straight times, and then they throw a pass to Kendrick Grimes, and he gets 3 yards, and they end up punting on 4th and 3. At that point, you saying they should have been trying to go for the jugular right there.
Gotta go.
Rather than run the ball 4 times, they should have been going for the jugular right there.
What was it, 4th and 3?
No, it was third. Yeah, it was third. And it was. So this is what it said. On first down, they got a 5-yard run. On second down, they got an 8-yard run by Russell. Then on first down, they got a 3-yard run by T-Set. Second down, they got another 1-yard run, and then it was 3rd and 6 from the 46. So they're at midfield.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. 3rd and 6 from the 46. And then I think they do like either a swing pass or a screenplay to Kendrick Grimes, and he gets tackled. And they're at midfield, 4th and 3 with a minute 54 left to go in the first half.
I'm doing a fake punt. I'm doing a fake punt, or I'm coming out with some type of play that I feel really, really, really good about. And for maybe coach could have something, but for me, I think I probably would have went with see, it's tough because they could have went punt safe. You know what I'm saying? They could go punt safe. They're like, hey, we don't care. But from what it was, they had a punt block formation on when they kicked that. I just want to be they had a punt block formation when they kicked that, and Travis called fair catch with the catch. But to me, I'm going for it, man. Like I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Now, people could be like, oh, you punt them and your defense was playing great. My defense is not going to win me this game. I just want to let's keep it a buck. My defense is not. I got to put up points. Coaches said it all year. Scotty, they're averaging 35. Like, I mean, he's been saying it all year. Scotty, they're putting up 40 on everybody. So if they've been putting up 40 on everybody, we can expect that they're going to put 40 on us. So we got to put up points. You're not going to keep them down to 17 forever. You're not Alabama State. You ain't been Alabama State all year. So now you're going to come into the SWAC Championship game. Now all of a sudden you're going to be Alabama State. Come on, man. Stop it. You gotta go. You gotta, in a boxing match, they would say you gotta press. You gotta go. You gotta be the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? To get them on their heels, because what does TC have to do? You
gotta be a pressure boxer. You gotta be a pressure boxer.
That means you're applying pressure to him. Now he's gotta press. You know what I'm saying? But when you go in the half at 10-10, that's 0-0. Jackson, like, we good. We come out in the half and we do, because what is the coach like TC going to say? Nothing is going right for us, and we're still tied in the game.
That's right. But on the other hand, Southern, if I'm Terrence Grave, I'm feeling good. Hey, it's 0-0. We pretty much don't shut them down a little bit. But in the back of my mind, I'm knowing they score.
They're going to score.
We got to eat some clock, and we second half had to be important that we get some out of it. Whether it was time on the clock, whether it was 3 points, of course, 7 would have been, what you was really trying to do.
Absolutely.
And, I can tell you guys, when I was at Tennessee State in '98, we played Murray State, and they were favored to win the football game, and they were playing great, and we were playing great as well. And I came, and I remember we was at pregame meal, and see, I practice trick plays. We practice them every day, just like we practice the power, the lead, or whatever. We take a section that we're gonna need a quick touchdown. And the kids used to always tease me, Coach, why we doing this? We don't never run these plays. Well, damn it, I ran all 10. And I promise you, I ran all 10, Coach, and they all worked. Game 46-44 on a block. running 44.
Wow.
So when you were talking, Scotty, I know hell. People might say, well, you ain't coached before, but you got the right idea, man. Look, I'm gonna pour it out on the line of scrimmage. If I can't throw the ball well, hell, I'm gonna damn run it, and I'm gonna come up with every running play.
Coach, let me ask you this, because you always we don't often talk about it, but you mention it a lot. We having conversations, and you'll say this about a coach. We could be talking about any level of football, and you'll say, hey, well, the play caller's a quarterback, so he's gonna put the ball in the air. Or he's an offensive lineman, so he wants to run the ball. And let me just ask you this. How much over the years, has that personality profile that you use to predict teams, how has that played? Do you use that because it normally plays itself out? Or is that the mentality of teams? Or does that profile work out like that often?
Well, yeah, it's pretty much like that. Not saying that if I was an over lineman and I'm offensive coordinator that I just want to run the ball. But 9 times out of 10, over linemen they want to run the football. And guys who play wide receiver and quarterback, they like throwing the football. That's like break teams down. You get their tendencies. If they're a good run team, they gonna let you know when the most time they're gonna run the ball. You look at breakdown first. How many times this team run the ball? Oh man, 90% of the time. How many times they run it on second time? 80s. So first and second down, the defensive coordinator is preparing to do what? Stop the run. It's just tendencies. It's just tendencies that as an offensive lineman, coordinator or head coach, and a defensive head coach, they like to keep the game tight. Just my observation of being around the game all my life. They like to keep the game tight. They like to be in the 24 range. But when you got a gunslinger like a quarterback or wide receiver, he wants to score as many times as he wants. And sometimes that gets you in trouble, just like want to run the ball all the time. It gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
So you got to be that even keel guy to do what it takes to run.
I remember, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to let you go, Rob, my bad. My thing was, I remember that trick play Dooley pulled out in PV versus Jackson when he threw it to the running back and the running back threw the pass. And they were a high pressure team. I gotta catch you slanted. I gotta catch you committed to one side. Something just to let you know, hey, you better be thinking, right?
See, pressure teams like that. For instance, we used to have a trick play where we actually line up in doubles and motion the wide receiver across and then bubble, and then the quarterback get it and throw it to him as he going. And we tell him, make sure you look run. And what happens is then the offensive line go down the opposite side, and then he stops and throw it back to the quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Team, when they see that bubble screen, they all 11 men going. Throw that mug back, you walk into the end zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to run one we call jughead. Well, what's jughead? Jughead is off the sprint. You take the back and ease him up and put the quarterback underneath, and the quarterback reverse out and then put it into his pocket, and he sits low. And then the quarterback keep running to the sideline as if he's running a sprint out. Mm-hmm. But you give it to the fullback, and he's out the backside of that the offensive line. So it's just some things that you got. I think you got to do certain things. And I know you guys remember last year, and I was like, well, man, if they're giving you the go route, you got to take a shot at it.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do it or not, you got to keep the defense honest. They can't load up on you. You can't be predictable. And you got to take, especially in championship games. See, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches and stuff get tight. It's like you say, Scotty, shit, look, this is it. Look, hey, my job is secure. It's the last game of the year. Shit, you got to let it go.
Let it go, man.
If I lose, I'm losing because I let it go. I'm not sitting
I
there
shot all my bullets in the gun out of the gun. I did everything I could. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, and Coach, you're a quarterback. And I'm so sorry. I know you got a question in Rocket Belt. Coach,
No, go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
Coach, you're a quarterback. How would you feel if you T-set and I didn't got you all the way to the fourth quarter, we're down 2 touchdowns, and you bring in a guy who been passing out water bottles all game, cold, ain't thrown nothing, and he gonna finish the game?
Yeah, I think because T-set is a young quarterback coach, and he's excited to be in the game. I don't even think he would be thinking that way. Now, if he was an upperclassman, I think you would be exactly right on. He'd be like, "Shit, coach, no, man. Let me finish. We ain't giving up yet."
Yeah.
So, but again, they alternate the quarterbacks all year long.
Yeah.
Then, back and forth, and never getting into the groove of what they do.
Coach, let me ask you this along that same line. And I don't want to make this episode of HBCU Coach's Corner, but I just got a lot of questions. So my question is this, Coach. We're getting back to the quarterback a little bit. When you get to a championship game and you have struggled, both of these teams have struggled at the quarterback position. Do you put together a game plan or a strategy, or do you go into the game realizing, man, this guy may struggle, I got to have a fallback?
When you say a fallback in one of the other players?
Or a game plan if my quarterback is struggling. Like, do you prepare for that since you've been doing the quarterback thing all season? Whether it's Jackson State had a quarterback issue early in the season, Southern has had a quarterback issue most of their season. Do you come in with a game plan and say, okay, if Jacoby struggles, this is what we're going to go to? Or if T-set struggles, this is what we're going to go to?
I'll be honest. I've never been in that situation as a coach because I believe that one guy get it. But I do believe of what you're saying is true. We got to pick out a couple plays what he does great, and we got to pick out a couple plays that he does, and then that's how we got to go about it. It's almost the same thing as what Jackson State did do today. My man was a pocket guy. Morgan was a pocket guy, and then the guy come off the bench. He's more of a, the spread where the quarterback gets involved in running the football. So yeah, you definitely got to be able to if you want to do that. That's why I always like the quarterbacks. The running back runs the ball, and the receivers catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't believe that. I mean, some people. I mean, Rocky, we watching Norfolk State, and they're on the 1 yard line, and we score, we go up. Shit, we probably could win this game. And instead of letting the running back run it, we let the quarterback run it, and he gets stopped.
Yeah.
I don't believe in, if it's third and short, I'm gonna give it to my playmaker, guys. That is so important when you're putting together offensive. A game plan. Who has got us there? You know what I'm saying? If my tailback has got us there, guys, let's make sure we giving him the ball. So I'm gonna have somebody in the box making sure that we either throwing it to our playmakers and giving it to our playmakers.
Coach, you bringing up another thing that just popped in my head, Coach. And I know Jackson State is a running team, and I know they're a dominant running game. And TC came in with a plan. Obviously, to pass the ball on first down, pass the ball on second and short, pass the ball even on third and short. How much do you think of that is predicated on making sure the wide receivers are involved in the game plan?
Hey,
well,
it's hard to keep wide receivers.
I mean, when I looked at the SWAC the last time, I don't think they got a receiver in the top 5, do they?
Johnnie Gibson. Johnnie Gibson, he got 1,200 yards. Nathan from Valley got 1,000 yards. But I think that's
what about Renberg?
Nathan, that's the first name. Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan Renberg. Those was the top. I don't think Jackson State got a wide receiver there. I think they got there by giving that ball to the tailback. You know what I'm saying? So as far as when you say playmakers, I don't think they have any. Because sometimes playmakers don't only just catch it. You giving the ball on the sweep. You know what I'm saying? You give them on the jet sweep. You throwing them some bubble screens. You throwing them to come in motion. Some middle screens because I need to get that wide out the ball because they make it happen. I think Jackson State came in is that we win on defense. We hand the ball off on offense, and we try to create turnovers as well. You know, because I think they led the league in turnovers.
Let me start. Let's look ahead, right? Let's look ahead just a little bit. South Carolina State, Jackson State. First thoughts. Rocky, you go first. First thoughts, just from what you've seen in this game, what you've seen from South Carolina State all season. First thought.
First thought is this is going to be the best offense that Jackson State has faced all year, right? And I'm wondering, can Jackson State hold South Carolina under 30 points based on the teams that they've played? I don't think Jackson State has played a high-powered offense all year like South Carolina. So Jackson State is going to get a test that they haven't experienced before. Eric Phoenix will clearly be the best quarterback they've played all year. And so that's where the game will be won and lost. I honestly believe Jackson State will be able to put up 20, 25 points. But how many will they give up will determine whether or not they win the game. Again, I think South Carolina State is a solid defense. I think Jackson State can do what NCCU did. They can put up 24 points. You know what I mean? But is that going to be enough is the question.
What you got, Coach?
I think the two best HBCU and FCS teams are playing in our championship. Not the best as far as number one in the country, but two good football teams. They both bring a little different, but they good on both sides of the ball, as well as offense as well as defense. I think Jackson State got a very great chance of winning. I think it's 50-50 down the pike. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't even bet on this game. Here's one thing that Phoenix hadn't faced yet. Phoenix haven't faced the pressure defense. If you remember going back and watching that North Carolina Central game, they didn't hurt South Carolina until they put pressure on Phoenix. At the end, if Phoenix don't get out and run 21 yards when it was third and 20, and he got out and made it happen, that way he will hurt. Again, I talked earlier in this cast about a quarterback playing against a pressure defense is going to have to put the team on his back sometime and make plays. The great thing about it is Phoenix can do that. He can make plays. I think if they're able to retain him for making big plays, meaning making first downs, I think Jackson State got a great chance of being in there. You know, I think Jackson State will cause South Carolina State some issues and some problems. You know, but I think because I don't think South Carolina State's secondary has been challenged all year. If you look at MEAC football and you look at the scoring over there, they mostly are pound game. So I think it's an exciting game. I think, you know, when you look at both teams, they both balanced. I think where you win the game at is I'll take Phoenix as the best quarterback is going to be in the game. When I look at both coaches, you got to go with the one-on-one at most games and don't sit in that seat in Chennisberry. You know, he's been there. He's got experience in both conferences. You know, he's been in the MEAC.
That's fair.
I mean, MEAC, and he's been in the SWAC as well. But I like both of them's chances, man. I tell you, when you look at it, you say well, Phoenix can throw it, but can Phoenix handle the pressure? He hadn't been really pressured a lot in the MEAC. You know what I'm saying? So I got it a toss up. I think both teams score 24-21. You know, either way it goes. But That's the way I see it.
For me, first thoughts is probably the two most balanced, complete teams. I won't say balanced. Probably the two most complete teams to where they can win in all phases of the game. Special teams, defense, offense. For me, I think what South Carolina saw today with Zy McDonald, you have to be excited. Just me personally, because it just shows you how limited they are passing the ball. And with Zy McDonald, they just are. He's not a he's not the quarterback to me that I'll be like, oh man, he's gonna pick us apart. He's gonna have his opportunities to throw his slants and his goals and his hitches or whatever, but that's not gonna kill you. And you understand what they are. And I think South Carolina State's balance is just better. Passing wise, I mean, they got 3 receivers over 600 yards. Their running back, I think he went for about 900 yards. Defensively, they got some solid D-line play. Way better linebackers than Southern. Got a linebacker going to the East-West Shrine Bowl. So I think there's talent there. I think for me is how does South Carolina State game plan for the pressure? That is the key. Do you see the screens? Do you see the bubbles? Do you see the tunnel screens? Will they have a pressure offense prepared? Because at the end of the day, if you can disrupt that pressure, if you can make them pay for bringing that pressure and hitting them on the back end of it, I think it's going to be a long day. I don't see Jackson putting up a lot of points unless it's big plays, like big gash plays. I don't think that front is really going to be able to move South Carolina State like that, because to me, I think Jamari Taylor's a better back than Irv. Not by much, but I think he's a better back from NCCU. And it took a while for him to get going. And I think for South Carolina State, knowing that this team is one-dimensional the way they are, they can lean on that even more. So right now I got South Carolina State. I think it's 31-17. I think South Carolina State pulls it away. I think they do a great job of game planning for McDonald. I think the difficult part of South Carolina State is you don't know who to game plan for. You don't know if it's going to be Morgan, he's going to go back to Jacobian, or is he going to go with Zy, right? Because I think if you go with Jacobian, I think that scores like 24-31. Because Jacobian is not the best passer, and I get all that. I know how you guys feel about Jacobian, but I think he's a processor. He can go 1, 2 to 3, and I don't think Zy he don't go past 1. That's just my personal opinion. So I think that's where it's a little different. But again,
well, one of the things where South Carolina State, I think, has an edge is they got a wide receiver over there named Horn. He's small, but he can run like the wind.
High. His name is High.
It's High. I'm sorry, I thought it's High.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a difference maker. He's a difference maker. But once again, when you look at the North Carolina Central game now, that's how they came back. Big plays. They called South Carolina
in the passing game, though. In the passing game, a lot of those in the passing game. Yeah.
Right, but I think Jackson State got big time receivers that can make those big plays. I really feel they do. Guys, I think it's just I mean, man, it's gonna be you shouldn't miss this game. It's gonna be and it's gonna come down to special teams as well. Special teams gonna play a good role in it, because now possessions are important on where you get the ball at. If you can keep both teams, backed up where they got to go 80 yards every time, then you got an opportunity to win.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. Will South Carolina State be able to hold Jackson State to 50 yards rushing?
Well, that's what they wish to do. And if they do, then they're gonna have a very good chance of winning the football game. Very good chance.
Because that's what they held North Carolina Central to.
Yeah.
They held Jamari Taylor to 72 yards and 58 yards. Huh?
He got a touchdown though, right? I think
Yeah. He did get a touchdown. He did get a touchdown, but it was 58 yards total in rush.
Coach, so I'm gonna say this: Jackson State's front is just as good as South Carolina State front to me. Just as good. I mean, did you see all the pressure they was putting on Southern? That back, they were hitting the back. How many times they hit the back in the backfield? I would like to see the stat on lost yardage.
But I think the trenches are. I think on both sides is push. I would give the trenches a push. Because South Carolina State's O-line is pretty darn good. Jack State's O-line is pretty darn good. Jack State's D-line pretty darn good. And South Carolina State's D-line is pretty darn good. Yeah. But
now,
go ahead.
Now this is what I'll say is, has Jackson State faced a quarterback
No.
that can do what Eric Phoenix can do?
No.
And is Eric Phoenix healthy? Will they go with Stubblefield?
Oh, they're going with Eric Phoenix. Come on now. He had 3 weeks to get healthy.
I don't know what his injury was, so I don't know.
It was his ankle, high ankle sprain. Yeah. But
so he should be good to go.
Yeah, he should.
So in that game against North Carolina Central, Eric Phoenix was their leading rusher. So did nobody else raise no heck rushing the ball?
Because NCCU's D-line was like that. It's like that. But the coach talks about when he says, in a high-pressure team, I'm going to need my quarterback to do what he do and to have that benefit on both sides, right? Jacobian, no, but Zai more apparently, and then you got Eric Phoenix on the other side of that, right? But if you look at really that game was won in the first half by South Carolina State. Let's keep it a buck.
And let me say this too, guys. Now remember the game. Now, I didn't think Harris for North Carolina Central. He didn't make the plays that he should have. You know what I mean? He kept getting caught because he wasn't that athlete. I think Kobe Morgan is that athlete, but he has to know when to get out of there. You know what I mean? And that's what hurt. That's what hurt North Carolina Central. Down at the end of the game, if he could have got out of there and made the first down, you guys remember that? And he couldn't, and he actually fumbled the ball to give him the ball back.
Yeah.
So I think Morgan can do it. Morgan can be a difference maker in that game, but they got to let him know going in that game.
So Coach, that brings me to another question, Coach. Jackson State, you're TC Taylor. What do you do at quarterback going into the championship game?
Oh man, I'm gonna go back with Morgan.
Wow.
I'm gonna go back with the guy who got us here.
If I'm South Carolina State, I'm like, yeah, let's roll with that. Let's roll with that because I'm being honest. I don't think Jacoby and Morgan is ready for the moment. Watch him in the SWAC championship game. It's either TC has to call a better game plan, which is your point, which you came in earlier to say, to help him out, to help him get comfortable in the game. Yeah. But to me, I'll tell you this: if I'm TC, it's a weak decision. It's how that week goes for practice because I can't ignore what Zai is, but I think it's like the Nick Saban thing. You let Jacoby and Morgan run until he can't run no more, and you're like, you know what? We need Zai. I can't watch this no more. We're gonna put Zai McDonald in the game. So yeah, just have him on standby.
Will you have that kind of time in a championship game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Coach, you can figure out early if he's going to be making plays. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not. But like, you know, you gotta give him some so he can be successful. You know what I'm saying? Uh you know, he's gotta stay away from the third and long situations. You know what I mean? So you know, and you can kind of control that as the coordinator. You know what I mean? You don't want to put him in or put him in some situations where he got to run the football. You know, quarterback draw or quarterback counter. You know what I mean? To get him involved in the game. You know what I mean? You just can't have him sit back there and every time he have an opportunity, it's gonna be third and long to try to make a play. You don't want to put the game in his hand. You know, you want to try to keep the game out of his hand and put it in the playmaker's hand, which is the tailback.
You know, Coach, what I seen today is I seen an offense that really struggled in the first half with him at quarterback.
Yeah.
And immediately, once he went out the game, it was like
A breath of fresh
it was
air.
a boost.
Yeah.
It was like, let's be honest, guys. It wasn't even the same offense once McDonald came and took over the helm.
How many passes did McDonald throw down the field? One?
I mean,
Two.
And that was an interception. The other ones was
three.
three. The other ones was slants.
Yeah. And a
Ran
drag.
the ball.
And a drag, yeah.
Right. They ran him. They didn't do that with Morgan early in the game. And that's what we were talking about. And I think when they was in the red zone and start bringing pressure, those are the things that Morgan can do best. So I don't think they put him in a good situation, you know. But you are right. When the other kid got in there, it speeded the game up. You know, I was talking about tempo. I didn't think Jackson State had a tempo when they opened the game. They wasn't getting up, lining up, boom, let's off tackle, boom, boom, here you go, boom, boom, boom. It was more like giving Morgan time to, okay, we're going to pass. Let me read the coverage that I really ain't been doing all year because I've been handing the ball off to the back.
So one thing I can say about Southern that makes them particularly problematic for a pocket passer is those guys on the edge, they have great first steps. Like, they have great first steps, and they can put pressure on you quick.
Givens.
Once the quarterback change was made, it kind of neutralized that first step they had, and they could no longer just
Rush up the field.
Yeah. Right? I don't know if South Carolina plays that same style of defense or they even have the guys that rush up the field that way. But I just think they had to slow down once McDonald got in the game, you know, because we saw on several big plays, they just missed the tackle. You know what I mean? They couldn't get him on the ground. Whereas Jacoby Morgan, he was overwhelmed by the rush.
Once again, in the kids' on the kids' behalf, when you put him in third down and long in passing situations, defensive ends are pinning their ears back and getting upfield.
Yeah.
When you got they never. If you look, they never got into a third and long situation when that other kid got into the game. But when Morgan was in the game,
they got into the 3rd and 16.
And what did they end up doing? They threw this.
They ran a crossing route and he hit the guy for a crossing route on 3rd and 16. But that's not the problem I had with Jacoby Morgan wasn't the situation that he was in. It's that TC called 2 pass plays, 2 drives in a row on 1st and 10. One was an incompletion, one was a sack. They got behind the chains and they weren't able to recover from that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, those were the 2 problems. Like, now maybe if they don't, now I will say this. They called a couple passes for Zay McDonald on 1st and 10 as well, right? He completed the pass though. So that's what made it kind of different.
But what was the pass?
Now, one of them was that crossing route.
Right.
One was a hitch.
Right. One, he threw a hitch, he threw a slant, and he hit the crossing route.
Yep.
You know, I see what you're saying, Coach. You know, Here's my question though to you guys. You both can answer. How did they get here? Did they get here with backup or Morgan?
Morgan, you're right, Morgan.
Morgan.
You know what I'm saying?
If I'm South Carolina, I'm praying.
He won the battle, and it was some games that he had hell of a games. You know, he done a great job. I just think that Coach TC got caught up in the calling his script instead of calling situations where they were on the field. Because sometimes the coordinators, and if you again telling the audience what is a script, you want to go in the game with 20 plays that you've been watching all week of this team you about to play that are successful plays. But the problem is if they're successful and all of a sudden next thing you know, you're in the red zone where a team like to bring pressure, you got to be able to change up and go away from the script and go to where your pressures and throw pressure passes. What's pressure passes? Getting the ball out.
I will say this. There's not many teams like Southern. Like, Southern didn't play a lot of man at all. Like, they played very little man that I was able to determine. Like, they may play exclusively zone. And so do you think that may have changed how effective each quarterback was? Like, maybe with a man scheme, Jacoby Morgan can make his decisions quicker and get the ball out faster and whereas when they were playing a zone scheme with that pressure off the edges, he wasn't able to process it as fast. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I say,
let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You know Morgan is your throwing guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now if you're playing pressure against him, you man on the outside.
Yeah.
Right? Now you come with a running back quarterback. Now I'm gonna do what? You just called it, coach. I'm gonna play your zone because we gotta either tackle that back or we got get the quarterback. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So now I'm gonna predict the defense gonna predict what you gonna do. So we know they're gonna run the football, so we're gonna make sure we got people up there to make tackles.
Man, it's gonna be a good one. Listen, guys, I gotta get going.
Okay.
Listen, Rocky, Coach Cole, as always, man, I appreciate you guys. Man, y'all make sure y'all check out these young whippersnappers on Tuesday, Coach's Corner. Make sure you're locked in. All right, listen, it's gonna be a crazy week celebration bowl, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned and locked in. And listen, as always, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm a holla. God bless. Oh my God, did he just fumble? Wow.
Who was that?
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.